you've got on the slide we're going to put up there, kind of your risk return mindset. You've got a percent of total net worth that you're going to put into crypto. If you're a newbie, that's at 0. If you're a total crazy degen, you're probably at 100%. You've got short-term thinking versus long-term thinking. And then you've got this financial IQ, which maybe you can tell us more about. How do people start thinking about these things?
Yeah, I think the first question on defining who we are as an investor, and you know this better than anyone, Brian, because you've been in finance your entire life, is that some people may think I'm conservative or I'm progressive, I'm aggressive, I'm moderate, but it's a lot more nuanced than that because it really depends on how much of your total net worth is being put into that play to fully understand how you behave. You could be extremely conservative. I could be extremely conservative, but we want to have fun on a meme coin, right? We find this cultish vibes fun. We're like, hey, I'll just put, $1,000 or $100. $100, if that represents 0.001% of my total net worth. Am I an aggressive? No, I'm just having fun. So I think a lot of people, rather than thinking, am I conservative, moderate, or aggressive as an investor, are thinking about it wrong. You really need to attach it to the percentage of your total net worth for it to actually be accurate. And I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I love that. Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, who we've both met, and he's been on my show 4 or 5 times. He just wrote a book about investing. And, for him, it's like, for conservative stuff, he's telling people to go in the S&P 500. But even Jordan says, look, you can have a tiny little capital on the side that you can have fun with. Put it on some penny stocks, put it on here, punt this, and you can enjoy the markets without putting 25% of your net worth into some risky asset. So I love this concept. And I also love it because it gets you used to risky assets. So many people look at memes, especially if you come from the normal financial markets and you say, what the heck is this? This literally means nothing. It's worth nothing. And yet the market cap is, I don't know what Doge is over $10 billion, right? So there's clearly value. Maybe you start kind of small with what you're saying. So people should think about total percentage of capital and how they allocate that to risky assets as opposed to just some general sense, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Love that. And that all goes down to kind of your percent of total net worth, your risk return mindset. This investor versus trader is another one. And I guess that's about timing. Can you speak a bit on that?
Yeah. So I guess once we understand who we are, how we behave relative to the net worth that we have, disposable income or investable income, then I think really an important step is to understand the different timeframes. Obviously, if you go into really short timeframes, you're more of a trader. Some people will trade at the minute timeframe on the charts. That's something that is too much stress for me. And I know as myself as a human being, I can't take that. Already swing trading, if I want to swing trade, like rebalance my portfolio over 3-4 months, it's already stressful for me. So I realized that me as a human being, the trading gig, I just can't do it. I don't have the guts for it or maybe the stamina. So I'd rather see myself as someone who likes to think at least 6 months before taking any type of profits or reallocating my assets. And for my total net worth, obviously have goals based on years. How much money do I want to make within the end of the year, within 3 years, within 5 years, within 10 years? What is my ultimate definition of financial freedom? How much money do I really need to be happy? I don't need billions of dollars. I don't even need hundreds of millions of dollars. I just know what I need to be happy and be financially free. So I think, really, and it's, believe it or not, Brian, if I ask someone, what is your goal in this market? To most people, like, give me a number, a tangible, dollar number, or give me a percentage in terms of ROI. Most people don't know.
I know.
So these are questions that seem easy, but that are quite difficult, that demand lots of research and reflection, I think.
Joining the investment club can bring you the opportunity for peace of mind, wealth, resources, community, and a more joyful time. It was a whole new world for me to hear about cryptocurrency, an alternative to the traditional banking system that we have. The investment club gives us a chance to think about what wealth really is, to have the freedom to live your life that you want. In just 1 month that I've been a part of the investment club, I have listened to so many visionaries with new ideas in the world of music, in the world of finance, in the world of artificial intelligence. When I have questions, there's members of the club willing to support and help and want to see one another gain experience and knowledge.
Yeah, if you don't have a specific goal, I think they call them SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, realistic, and time sensitive. So I want to make $5 million in this crypto bull run. Okay, now that might seem silly to people. That might seem unrealistic to people. That might seem low to some people that are listening to this. But it's important because now you know exactly what you have to do. Okay, how are you going to make that 5? You're not going to make that putting everything in Bitcoin. You're just not. The risk profile isn't there unless you have, a lot of money that you want to put at risk. So that means you have to start changing your risk profile. And we'll talk about going into lower caps later and stuff like that. But I agree with you. Everybody listening right now should come up with a number. What do you want to make over the next 12 months, maybe 24 months, maybe 36 months? And then you can start acting according. So I love that. The second part is most people, I think, get into this market and they trade too often.
Yes.
And let's be honest, everybody out there, from the news websites to the centralized exchanges, which we'll talk about later, to a bunch of other players, they win when you trade. There's that great movie called Casino with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. And he says, what do they do at the casino? Keep them playing, because in the end, the house takes everything. And there's that famous scene where there was that high roller from Japan who comes in and he makes 10 million and he's about to leave. And they put him on the jet and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, the jet engine doesn't work. We'll comp you at the hotel. You don't have to play. And of course, he has to go back to the tables and they take all of his money from him. And so I would say, be careful when you see a website that comes out and gets you into FOMO, fear of missing out, or FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and getting you to buy and sell things, because ultimately an exchange makes money on the back of that. Most people should probably hold. I'll say one other thing. I had Dan Moorhead on our show, London Real. He runs Pantera, which is one of the big VCs. They were buying Bitcoin for their fund back in 2013, I think. And he said, Brian, we've got 45 full-time day traders managing some of our, spot funds. And he said to me, Brian, we barely know what the hell we're doing. So how do you expect an individual to try to be able to stay on top of these markets? I believe it's impossible. And I believe you'll go crazy trying to do it.
Exactly.
I'll say one more thing. People think that a trader is a person that sits at their 8 screens all day long and looks at the screens. No, a good trader doesn't look at screens all day long because that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
A good trader does their research, puts on their positions, and then works on the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Be a good parent, get a good physical practice, research the next thing, build your business, but you don't need to be looking at a screen all day long. So that's my take on it.
It's really, really valuable advice. And a lot of the best traders that I know, and I know a guy who's actually trending on Binance. He's the top trader on Binance right now.
Chris MM Crypto.
No, he's one of the
up
top
there
guys.
too. Yeah. Shout out
right.
to MM Crypto. He's gonna be
He's
there.
a great trader as well.
Yeah, he was like number 1 trader, I think, on his Ripple trade he did a few weeks ago or something. So yeah.
And they're really tight on their goals. As much as, you're feeling FOMO or FUD, when there's a goal, there's a goal. One of my friends who was the head of derivatives at Morgan Stanley back in the 90s, and he's great career. He's made incredible fortune. He always told me, Alex, even if we knew that the stock would go up in price or whatever product they were trading, the goal is the goal. You execute at that particular goal. That's what the guideline is, and that's what it is. I think it's all about goals. And one thing about financial freedom, Brian, I think, which is really important when it comes to setting our life goals, our life financial goals, is I always tell someone that imagine through low risk interest, you can earn between 3 to 5% a year on the capital that you have there. If you want to take slightly more risk, maybe there's some, products that can in real estate that can yield 7 to 9%. So if you took all your capital or a good percentage of your capital and you put it and you would earn 4 to 5% a year, or if you're a little bit lucky and you have good connections, maybe 6 to 9% a year, how much capital would you need to get that annual income that you want to just live your life freely, and do whatever the heck you want? And for example, a good friend of mine said, I want $20 million because I know if I put $20 million and let's say I put 70, 80% of that, let's put $15 million in a bond, for example, that can generate 4 to 5% currently on the markets. That's a lot of money, right? That's more than $1 million or roughly $1 million a year doing nothing, let alone the money that you're reinvesting that's making money elsewhere. So $1 million, we're talking about $150,000 a month. That's more than enough for me, but the most important part is, as you said, is having those goals and sticking to them, I'd say.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.